Appreciate y'all coming out and in supporting us and enjoying, and let's keep it all together. Everybody needs to have a good time. We need to save our neighborhood. Kids need it, y'all need it, everybody needs this place. If we can help open Lincoln Center again and stop the construction of more hospitals, more buildings, more government projects, I'd appreciate it, because slowly but surely every neighborhood is dying and we need to stop it somewhere. Thank you all. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, at this time I'm going to call forward Mr. Jesus Ochoa, a gentleman that works on many different projects throughout the city regarding the Chicano movement. Mr. Ochoa.
Thank you. This is not going to be a rah-rah speech, but I want you to please listen as I lay out some Chicano Mexican-American history for you. My uncle, Cleofas Calleros, a respected local historian, in 1931 was the border representative for something then called the National Conference of Catholic Bishops. Of course, those were the Depression years, and Mexicans were being deported to Mexico wholesale. My uncle writes, and I have the historical record, that one day he waited at the train station for a train coming from Los Angeles, and he talked to every one of the people on board. 970 some odd Mexicans being deported. Only 16 were not born in the United States. We were deporting citizens. When I started practicing law in 1964, one of my first cases involved a gentleman who claimed that his father and mother had been deported during the Depression, even though they were citizens. That case set me on the road, which has been a lifelong project to fight por la raza, because we are the first to join, we are the first to die, and as the Venezuela brothers will tell you, even though you serve honorably and suffer the psychological wounds of war, they still try to deport you. That crap has to stop. I was lucky to be sent to a named Catholic university. To my surprise and disgust, I encountered even more discrimination. In 1959, I was discharged from the Navy. I was married and had a baby. Went to Austin to work for a bit so I could save money for law school. It took me 6 months to find a job, and the only reason I found the job was because the headhunter passed me off as being Spanish. And I got a job for $250 a month pushing furniture in a furniture factory. I was a veteran and an honors graduate of the University of Notre Dame. That's personal history. But the history of our people dates back to the Mexican-American War, when the United States gobbled up half of Mexico's territory. During the Second World War, during the First World War, you all know Armijo Center. Marcos Armijo was awarded the Distinguished Service Cross, which is just below the Medal of Honor. Not many of you have heard the name Marcelino Serna. He was a World War I veteran, the most decorated veteran from Texas. He was called the Audie Murphy of the First World War. He was also what is now called an illegal alien. Notwithstanding all the medals he won, his platoon sergeant told him, "You're not eligible for the Medal of Honor because you can't speak Spanish." And his company commander told him, "Besides which, you're an illegal alien." A bill sent a few years back to have the Medal of Honor awarded to him posthumously failed in the Congress. Now to local politics. I worked, and my two daughters worked hard to get John Cook elected mayor. We walked the precinct for Susie Bird. We believed in Veronica Escobar. I personally have never suffered such a sense of betrayal from these so-called progressive politicians. The first thing the Cook administration did was to go to bed with the far-right Republican interests. Like my comadre Alicia Chacon, former El Paso County judge, says, there has never been another individual who opened the door to the far-right nuts as has John Cook. What have been the developments and the results? A plan to gentrify South El Paso, keeping people on the payroll like Dudley Hamlin, who might have called out publicly and do it again. When my friend Lester Valencia was the city planner and Jose Santos was head of the Pasto Authority, the federal government gave 20 or 30, I don't remember if it's one or the other, let's say the lesser amount, $20 million to the city to invest for low-income housing in the Segundo Barrio. Debbie Hamlin sat on that money, refused to use it, and it had to be sent back to Washington. I called her out publicly at a meeting some few months ago at Jefferson High School to help save Lincoln Center. I pointed at her and told her that is what you did. And her response, I have no idea what you're talking about. Of course they don't. They never remember the evil they do. So, I am given to understand that because of public information requests, the city lies, told by this same woman that this building suffered water damage and that it is beset with asbestos damage are also lies. So here's the deal. Enough. That's enough. We are the 82% in this city, and we damn well better stand up on our hind legs and say, ya basta. And this is not just about Chicanos. Let me tell you, I am involved in an effort to have the Segundo Barrio named an historic district. My brother, Duarte, is sitting out there, former head of Thomason at the time when Thomason, under his tenure, really took care of poor people. He's on our committee, as is Alicia Chacon, several other distinguished Pasoans. Jose Rodriguez has now come out publicly to have the barrio named an historic district. We want it on the National Register. Why? Because too many people have gone through that barrio who have contributed to this country. Carlos Montes, original founder of the Brown Berets. Carlos Zeta Acosta, the radical lawyer in the 60s. Anthony Quinn, for God's sake, the famed Hollywood actor. That barrio has been the gateway for people who have contributed to this country far more than any other gateway from immigration from the South. And we want it on the National Register. We have obtained a commitment from Courtney Nyland, who is a representative for the Segundo Barrio. She will sponsor a city ordinance to have the barrio named an historic district if we can show it has citywide support. So, I am calling on Emma Acosta, who represents this district, to do the same. If this city can spend $5 million to buy and renovate the road center on Montana Street, if this city can plan on spending $10 million to beautify the freeway so tourists won't be offended because it's kind of ugly, they can shoot damn well buy this building, give it to the committee, let the committee run it, and there are city funds to do that. So I'm calling publicly on Emma Acosta to introduce a city ordinance to save the Lincoln Center. And from where I sit, let me tell you, I probably would just stay trying lawsuits. The city of Austin has a beautiful Mexican-American cultural center. Pete has seen it. It's got motifs of Mesoamerican pyramid architecture to it. Little San Marcos has a magnificent Mexican-American cultural center. San Antonio has one. Where are we? All it takes is for you to make your voice heard. Now, from time to time, because I'm a polemical figure and I recognize it, I've been vilified as one who poisons the minds of young people. Here's the poison. Be proud of your ancestry. Be proud of who you are, what your family has done, what our people have done. If that's poison, hey, I'm all for it, okay? On the table over there, where my buddy in the dark in the sunglasses, Al Soto is, there are a couple of petition forms, one for the barrio and one for Lincoln Center. It has a bunch of spaces for signatures. I ask you, please, take some of these forms. If you can reproduce them on the Xerox machine, do it. Have your friends, your neighbors sign them. That's what we need to show this city. We don't give a damn if you're an immigrant or whatever. All we want is your signature. If this city can be shown that there is massive support and they don't do anything about the barrio or this center, the next thing is a referendum. And this time we will pass it, and this time it will be passed in a manner that the Court of Appeals can't stop the will of the people in asking for a recall election. Stand up and be counted. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to bring forward Mr. Duarte.
Buenas tardes a todos. Good afternoon to everyone. Like my brother Jesus says, stand up and be counted. Be proud of who you are. Be proud of what you have. Be proud of what you own. And all of this is yours. Your tax dollars created it. Your tax dollars support it, and it belongs to you. It does not belong to the city of El Paso or the county of El Paso. It belongs to the taxpayers. And if you want to save it, get behind the movement to save Lincoln Park. We're losing too many things that are associated with our culture, with our heritage, with our community, in the name of progress. Progress for who? For us? Que Mexican love. Para nosotros no, pero para el güero sí. So we have to stand up for what rightfully belongs to us. This morning we were in attendance at a mass at St. Pius for the farm workers. Cesar Chavez's birthday is coming up. Next Sunday at 9:30 at the Farm Workers Union Center on 9th Street in Ochoa. The march will start commemorating the birthday of Cesar Chavez. Who was Cesar Chavez? He was one of us. Just like us. What did he want? He wanted equality, he wanted social justice, he wanted fair pay for the agricultural farm workers, which is what we seek in this community. There are so many problems here in El Paso, and the biggest problem is that we sit on our behinds and do nothing about it. And it is time, like Jesus said, for us to stand up and rightfully claim what is ours. Watching the young people dance, the Chicano Boogie, reminded me of what happened in Los Angeles in the 30s, when Chicano Pachucos were beaten up, like Jesus said, with Matthew. Were beaten up one week because he dressed like a Pachuco, and the next week he was drafted. That's justice for our people. The deportation of thousands of our people during the Depression, pages that are not written in the history books of this country. But ask your parents, ask your grandparents, ask your aunts and uncles. what we have had to live to survive in this society. And with 82% of the population in El Paso looks like me, we should control this community and have what we want for our community. Muchas gracias.
Okay, and last we will call forward Ms. Lorena Andrade with La Mujer Obrera.
Buenas tardes. I'm from La Mujer Obrera. We're a women workers organization. We're working out of the garment district, or as it is now called, the Chavez. And our neighborhood was completely abandoned, and when the factories left, we lost more than 35,000 jobs. Most of us women who lost those jobs in those factories. And the city didn't mind or didn't care that we didn't have anywhere else to work. So now our young women are leaving school. We have no place to work. Our neighborhood has no libraries, no rec centers. Our neighborhood is completely abandoned by the city. But it's not abandoned by us, by the women. And we as women of that neighborhood are reconstructing it as best we can. We've opened daycare centers and a restaurant and a mercado, and we are going to decide and define what we want the future of our kids and our community to look like. As women, we have the right, historic right. We've been working here for more than 100 years, and they are living off of the wealth that we created. And now they're trying to destroy our neighborhood all the way from the Segundo Barrio all the way over here and other neighborhoods as well. So we'd like to also thank the Lincoln Park Conservation Committee for always supporting us in our struggle for survival and survival as a people and as a community, and to make a call out to everyone in all these different neighborhoods to unite and defend our history, who we are, and our neighborhoods. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to continue with the music. We will be having the award presentation at about 4:30. So all the participants in the bike show, at about 4:30 we'll have the award presentation. Thank you.